Hi, this is Suzanne Wachtel, and today's podcast, I happen to be lucky enough to be hosting in my home my wonderful daughter-in-law, Jennifer Levine. And she, to me, is the epitome of a wonderful example of someone who has embraced positive thinking. Later on in her life, I would say you started in your...
About 10 years ago when I had a life-changing, episode where I went into a deep depression. And
So you were in your 30s.
I was in my 30s.
Okay, so I'm going to have Jennifer introduce herself, and today we're going to talk about her experience with the positive thinking, how she embraced it, and how it really changed her entire direction in her life. So Jen, would you please introduce yourself?
Thank you so much for having me on today. I really am so honored to be a guest on Susie's podcast because positive thinking has changed my life, and I'm here to yell it from the rooftops that if you too embrace this way of thinking, it can change your life as well. So my name is Jennifer Levine. I am Susie Wachtel's daughter-in-law and best friend. And I am here for a week celebrating the holidays and doing a podcast. And I'm a physician assistant, I'm a mother, and I am a person who really, really believes that I am responsible for the life that I create.
Well, Jennifer, let me ask you this. Can you give us some examples? Like people say positive thinking. Like, does that mean just walk around in la la land and, not accept reality? Like, can you give us an example of how positive thinking changed the course in your life?
Sure. Well, let's start off with this. Everybody's reality is different. Everybody has a different perspective. Everybody has a different truth. And positive thinking to me really means that taking what you have, it might not be wonderful, but there always is a silver lining in things. There is a blessing, there is a positive thing in everything, and really it's up to us to be conscious of the thoughts that go through our head.
That's true.
So intentional, thinking.
So you mentioned before that you had suffered a depression. Where were you and what happened?
Well, to me, my depression was, I think, circumstantial because I made a cross-country move that was a huge transition for me. I was a new mother. I had a 5-year-old and I just had a 3-month-old. And, I moved from Los Angeles to Florida, and it was a very big transition for me. And I think circumstances are really what made me sad and depressed. I don't think it was clinical depression. I haven't been a depressed person my whole life, but that year, being sad and being down and out really taught me that I was the only person that had control to turn these things around. And I went to a therapist here in Delray Beach, and she completely turned my life around. When I went to her after the first session and I told her the circumstances about me and why I was sad, and she called me a victim. And she said, listen, you have so much to be thankful for. Please concentrate on the good things in your life. There are certain things that you might not have, but you really need to concentrate on the things that you do have. And she called me a victim, and victim mentality has been a theme in my 10 years of transformation. I am not a victim, I am a creator.
And so, in a way, it's about gratitude, right? So
Absolutely.
Instead of thinking what's wrong, it's flipping it into what's right.
There you go. There's always something right in everything, and there can be something wrong, but usually there's something positive and something right in a lot of things.
So
you have to look for it.
Can you give us one example of how you used this positive thinking strategy of leaving victim into going forward into something, being in control of your life?
Well, after I was called a victim, from basically I thought I was a victim from moving to California to Florida. Once I started to concentrate on the things I did have, I ended up landing a phenomenal job here in Miami. It kept me in Florida for longer than I thought I was going to. I started to attract things that made me happy here, and I really put my best foot forward and said, if I'm here, I'm going to be happy because this is an internal thing. It's a choice to be happy every day. And things started to turn around after that year. And 10 years later, I really feel like this is how I need to live my life. And
but
I
you
do.
did end up moving back to California,
I
which
did.
I think helped make you happier again as well.
Absolutely. And you really, happiness comes from within. You can move from place to place. If you're not happy, you're going to take your stuff and your shit elsewhere, but it's an internal game. But yeah, I ended up moving back to California 5 years after living here, and I was a completely different person, and yeah, so I did make it happen.
Now, when you commuted down to Miami, you had plenty of time on the trains, the buses, and all that stuff, and so you also occupied your time, right, with listening to podcasts. And didn't you listen to Abraham Hicks?
Yeah, I have a lot of spiritual, mentors that have helped me throughout, my transformational journey. And it's always, Abraham Hicks was a huge, influence.
Would you recommend
Yeah,
her?
Abraham Hicks, Wayne Dyer, Gabrielle Bernstein. There's so many people, and they always, they have so many wise things to say, but it's really what you do with their words and how you apply it to your own life. I mean, words don't teach. It's words can help. Words are powerful, but if you take their words and you start to apply it to your own life, you really can make big changes. And yes, I use my commute basically to create the move back to California. I used to think about climbing mountains every single day, and when I hike right now, I can't believe that I really did make that dream come true. So positivity and getting out of victim mentality, really those two things have been the success to my transformation so far.
So would you say your life is perfect now that you're a positive thinker?
I don't think anybody's life is ever perfect, and my life will never be perfect, but I'm happy, and that's all that I can ask for.
And I think also staying in the moment and really
Being
true
grateful.
and being
Gratitude is a
grateful.
huge thing.
And really, when you do feel like a victim, which I'm sure we all do at some points,
Yep.
it's important to recognize it and boot that bum out, that victim,
Yeah.
because it just doesn't feel good.
No.
And
if
we
you
can
stay in it too long, you're going to start to be sick physically, because we all know that
Correct.
our mind and our bodies are so intimately connected, and too much victim mentality, too much anger, too much guilt, shame, those emotions can make you physically sick. So do something about them.
100%. So here is a real life career woman, mother, wife, family member, and she is telling you from her personal experience that no matter what, the positive thinking has really made a big difference in her life.
Absolutely.
What other things do you do to keep your positive outlook and healthy
Exercise,
attitude?
movement, moving my body. I'm a runner, it's my way. I think running is my form of meditation. It's a way for me to, kind of check out, connect my mind to my body. I listen to, podcasts on my run. So exercise, movement, journaling. I really think free writing and just kind of getting the thoughts on the page and going back and kind of reading and seeing how far you've come. I have journals from 15 years that I'm reading through, and I can see the evolution of
But you
me.
can also see the patterns where you're stuck, and you
Exactly.
can see that things are or not changing. So that's a
Exactly.
really nice way to record your life.
Yeah, journaling, exercise, being with family, being with other people that lift you up. It's important for you to find people that are going to motivate you, support you, lift you up, not the energy suckers, because they're definitely out there. So it's up to you to be discerning, to see, who is a good person
I think
for
it's
you.
super important to be very picky
Picky.
with who you
Absolutely.
surround yourself with, because energy is contagious. So if you're with very negative people, you'll see that over time you're going to start seeing negative things. If you're around people that are also trying to work on things, maybe doing their positive thinking, their yoga, their running, really trying to make their life a better place,
Right.
you'll see that that's contagious as well.
Yeah, we are the company that we keep a lot.
That is true. That is true. So, anything else you'd like to talk about today?
No, I think those are the big things, and thank you so much for allowing me to share my experience with your listeners, and I'm so grateful, and thank you again.
Well, it's the beginning of a new year. This year has not been an easy year, let's be honest. There have been a lot of things throughout the world. I mean, I personally brag that I don't watch the news, which helps me, but at times it can be embarrassing when I'm not really sure what's going on, but I would rather feel good and peaceful than be aware of current events. It's been a rough year because eventually I do hear about the current events. It's been a rough year personally. It's been a rough year universally for Americans, for people all around the world, Israelis, everybody. And I am hoping and praying that if we can start with one little piece in our own lives of positive thinking, of spreading positive energy and love to each other, kindness, being gentle with each other, thinking of others' feelings, being more sensitive, and not being so angry and judgmental. Jen, do you agree with this?
Yeah, I think absolutely. If we can all be responsible for us, we can't be responsible for our family members, our bosses, who we work with, but we have our personal power we can control what we think, how we feel, and how we act.
And
so
how
that
we
is our
show up.
personal responsibility. And if all of us can do that, then maybe we universally can make a difference.
Yep. And even Mel Robbins just came out with a new book, which it's very simple, but it's such a basic concept called Let Them Theory. And the Let Them Theory is really, she draws a big circle. And in that big circle are all the negative things. You know, the judgy people, let them. The angry people, let them. The violent people, let them. And what she says is she draws a little teeny circle, which symbolically is you. You can only be responsible for yourself, how you show up in the world, how you talk to people, your behavior, your anger, your kindness, your generosity. And if you can worry about yourself and make sure you're doing the best you could do, then you will perhaps be contagious, spread it to another who will also have a better experience. So what else, Jennifer? What else would you recommend to the listeners about being happy?
Being happy. You know what? I think finding podcasts, finding books, of other inspirational and motivational people. A lot of people have lived hard lives who have made big changes and have been, successful in their lives. And, these mentors and teachers are always available for us to embrace all of their information. So I'm always looking for, inspirational stuff to immerse myself with. And just having fun. I think fun is a thing that a lot of people, they don't try to have fun. They're always worried about, being perfect or doing the right thing. Sometimes you just gotta let loose and have fun. And if you're fun and you're bringing joy, that's when the good things start attracting to you.
I agree. I feel like COVID, I've worked with a bunch of 20, 30-year-olds lately that are so uptight and so driven and so stressed out and
they're missing the point.
They're missing their life-work balance. They're thinking about the money and what they have to achieve rather than, at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. Enjoy your life and be happy. And, if you have enough, you don't have to kill yourself. Just have enough fun too. It's important.
Yes, fun is a huge thing. Fun and joy. I mean, if you find things that bring you joy, put yourself in certain situations that bring you joy. I mean, the beach is one thing. The ocean really, really fills me up. So I really make it a point 2 times a week, to get to the ocean, to be, in that environment, because that's what brings me joy. And when I'm joyful, my vibration rises and good things are attracted to me. So it's the law of attraction. I had to put that in there somewhere.
Of course. And for me, I just happen to I get really a very nice, lovely feeling when I'm kind to others and helping.
Generous.
And
you
generous.
are the most generous person in the world.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank
you're
you.
welcome.
But I feel like a bit of a cheater because I get off on it too.
Well, there's a certain chemical that's released in the brain, oxytocin. It's released when you give and when you receive. So this is an energetic exchange of a feel-good movement between 2 people, giving and receiving.
Agree. And I have to say, you're into the running, which I think is doing it for you. For me, I have found my comfort in taking walks in nature. And maybe because I'm older and I'm not as tough anymore.
Your knees are...
I used to be like horses and weightlifting. Now I'm into walking like an old lady. And I do love my gentle yoga and my Kundalini. Kundalini is I'm going to do a podcast with my Kundalini guru teacher, Elizabeth, to try to help some of you understand what Kundalini is. It's really just a meditation vibration that clears any toxic energy in your soul and system and allows you to feel peaceful and light. So I am so loving having Jennifer and her children here for the holiday. I'm so blessed and lucky. And as chaotic as some little moments are, it is so worth it and so much fun. And the memories are a wonderful thing to create.
Absolutely.
When given the opportunity.
Yes.
So on that note, I'm going to wish you all a very happy new year. And 2025 actually numerically is the number 9, which is really, it should represent a peaceful, more advanced, developed year. And
endings too.
And it's endings, right? And then it starts over again. So hopefully 2025 will give us some joy and peace and fun and abundance and all of that good stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Happy New Year.
Much for having me on,
Thank you for listening. Oh, it was my pleasure. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.